Hello, family. How are you doing? And you know what? I am every time I'm meeting new people and new ideas and the new kind of experts. I'm always like getting to from the curious stage to probably the highly excited stage, and I have no words. In fact, just to tell you the gentleman we have as the guest speaker today. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mukul Jain. Mukul, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for accepting the invite in one shot and saying, "Brother, I can come again and talk for you." Thank you so much.
Anytime, man.
Awesome. So, guys, let me put it this way: a person born in India at a place which is very close to my birthplace as well, from Bihar, and now getting into the seven-figure virtual company where more than 30 plus employees are already working for him from different parts of the world. Do you want to know the journey? So let's hear it straight from Mukul. Mukul, why don't you start with a little bit about your history, like how you have been and where you are right now? Might be in a small way.
Sure. My journey is, I think, very relatable to every person who is born in India because it's very average or below average. And, growing up in India, I grew up a very simple person. But I always had an eye for doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
And that led me to my journey of first leaving home after 10th standard, so sophomore high school, and then I went to a boarding school in Kota, right? Did my engineering preparation, got into one of the good, not IIT but different college, but it didn't make sense to me, so I decided to come to US, but that wasn't the easy path which I could take because it requires a whole lot of money. At the time, my dad went from his highest peak in his life to losing all his business as well as assets. So we were literally living month to month, and my mom had to sell a piece of her jewelry to actually send me over here. Plus, one semester of fees was arranged by my dad because he sold all the assets. He had to clear the debt. So that was my journey coming to United States. But that was actually the turning point for me, knowing that I chose this path and my people backed me up. So that gave me like a focus path. And like everybody else, I would always find a way to hustle outside of a normal people, like people who would want to, they do their own thing, whatever they have to. I would find ways to do more. I played rugby. I played racquetball for my university in US actually.
Oh,
And
nice.
also I was the one who was finding more opportunities, whether it was 2009, 2010, 2011, within my peers as well. So I was the one who would always not only think out of the box, but always create things out of the box. And after graduation, my father was in ventilator for 23 days. Luckily, he survived that because ventilator in 23 days doesn't happen. But I couldn't go back home because of my visa. And that gave me another heads up that if I need to stay in this country and for a long time, then I have to make sure that my visa is also taken care. So long story short, in 2-3 years, my work visa didn't go through. And then, luckily there was an opportunity window where immigrants can join US military. And I was able to join US military as a linguistic. So that was another turning point where, I have Eastern philosophy, which got added more from Western work ethic, which was a huge, like, imagine a 300 poster of Gerard Butler. That's an actor name of 300. And then imagine Buddha, right? Or somebody who's in Eastern philosophy, that those two can be together. And that was the huge belief system for me, that you could be kind. Like my family was really kind and caring and, serving everybody. And that's how I grew up. And I took that and combined it with my strong work ethic, which I learned from US Army. And then after within army, after army, I started working again as in IT, but I don't see myself going in IT. So I decided to open 2 or 3 businesses, which didn't work out for me. Amazon, FBA, just because I wanted to make the money. However, in 2019, um, it was a major breakthrough when I stopped running after money. I would just hone the skill of sales. So that means I was already a good salesman. It comes from my father because he was a good salesman. And I started my journey in 2019, April, a year from now, before, without having an idea of to start a business, no business idea, just doing sales, online sales for a client at my part time. So I would work 9 to 5, come back, and I would do sales online for a company which was located in California. So there were still business hours. The client liked me so much that he wanted to scale up, and I brought 4 more people with me. So 4 more people, I could actually provide employment through that opportunity. Fast forward 1 year, it grew to a team of 30 people. And now not only one client, I have onboarded about 5 different clients.
Awesome. Nice.
And a combined revenue, we have almost hit us 7 figures now.
Awesome. I mean, I wish you all the best. You should go for the next comma, I guess. I think that's the next level, I can tell you. But tell me one thing, Mukul, is I know life was not that good always to, keep on struggling and keep on hustling. There was one day when you decided, okay, I am going to be getting into sales, right? So you have already served the military and you have seen the kind of discipline, as you rightly mentioned, Eastern philosophy meets Western ethics. Okay, work ethics. That's an amazing way of articulating that. So I would like to know, what was that one day, that one particular moment when you said, enough, let me live the way I want to live in, and now you are on your own.
Well, living fearfully and living the way you want cannot exist both. For such a long time, I have been living fearfully.
Okay.
And that was the time I figured that this is a new normal for me. And, I can't do it alone, all of this. So I needed that support, and that support was my wife.
Okay.
So it's not the day, I would say, it's more of the series of events which led me to that day that, okay, what do I need in order to live the life the way I want? Making sure the numbers are all right. We don't have to live in fear. We are conservative, but at the same time, we are, you know, I would say series of events, right? Living in fear, like lack of money, lack of time, lack of flexibility, lack of being around, people doing things and you are not able to do it. Uh, those things kind of led me to the time that, okay, this is it. I'm going to give few years, whatever it takes, time or money, it takes me to actually get ourselves to live a life of how we want to design it.
Yeah.
And that happened. The journey started happening way back in 2009 when I made a decision to come to US, but it actually started to see the fruit probably this year.
Yeah. Right. So you mentioned about these challenges. I think the pretty much the challenges right now is hovering on our head as well with this new enemy called as the cute corona, and people have the same kind of challenges of having the fear of unknown. Belief system already been shaken to the next level. They don't know what's the next thing going to happen. Is the world is going to open up or not? Is the opportunities going to be there or not? I think pretty much it is the same kind of sins that you have mentioned. They're all living that series. I think it is already started. It started probably, now I'm calling from India, where there is a 21 days of lockdown already been, put into practice. And I think people are actually in that same stage. So I would like to, I'm more curious, like there is definitely some sort of, the chemical energy to the physical energy or some sort of a things that has happened by which you could actually take, says, okay, fine, great. All I have done, you have put your logics in between, right? You have already thought of, and now you take that leap of faith, that one stage. So would you mind telling the audience, like, what are the kind of things, the gut feeling that you call it as, is required probably for anyone to come out of such kind of situation, like how you have came out of that situation?
Sure. I think the gut feeling comes from our gut right here, the stomach, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that stomach doesn't have a brain. I like to believe that gut has a brain. You know
Oh man,
why?
yes.
It can easily consume, it can easily digest fiber. It can easily digest fruits, but it's hard for it to digest meat, right?
Right.
Protein. There is some sort of a gut feeling inside, and that's why there is a word called gut and
Mm.
intuition.
Right.
In times like this, I think this is such a blessing for me personally. I'm not talking about the people, the virus outside. The you do your precaution thing. That's a basic thing, right? The common sense.
Right.
But you having to be part of all of that will actually make it worse for you to see all that uncertainty. You already have uncertainty. You having to be part of that will add more to your uncertainty. Like, for
Right.
example, people find more in India getting locked down for 21 days. Now what? These things are not in your control. What's in your control is number one thing, which you actually tell people, which is, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Now you have the most time, man. I
Yeah.
think I'm pulling in about 16 to 18 hours of time into this business. And if you go to my Facebook group, my Facebook page, I keep it all transparent. Um, it does. My day starts 8 in the morning, and I go until 3 a.m. in the night.
Wow. I think, guys, you can put this in quotations, learning life from Mukul Jain, all the way from US right now with a seven-figure company having 30 plus employees working for him, and he's moving to the next level. And now the secrets is, you are utilizing the best part of the world at the time. So with that, Mukul, let me also understand, like, how do you manage, getting the first fan, the first person to believe in you? I know it's a different question, but I'm sure you will believe, because alone it is not possible to run the big business that you're doing. I'm sure there is someone who was the first person to believe in you, the first fan of yours.
I think I was the first fan of mine.
Awesome. Round of applause to yourself. I think that's a beautiful answer. So let's find out, like, how did you get to the next one?
What do you mean next one?
So I do understand having your own fan is about the trust when your mind, body, and soul works under the same focused line of thoughts, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And there is some sort of a communication. I know I like this discussion so much because it is coming to my topic, which I right now actually practice. There's a 35 days 37 days program, call it as influence in yourself. By the way, it is not about any spiritual guidance or any kind of mindfulness, but it's all about how you can become an entrepreneur from the thin air without anything, right? So I think this is way good. I can definitely relate to that. So, but as I said, like, I would like to know, how did you convey this information to someone where they are also working as a team to you? How do you communicate? How do you start this first company of yours?
sure. I think that's one thing which I have. If you tell me what's the one thing which is an inheritance besides the physical part of it, is
Right.
the ability to see the world from other people's eyes, which I've done a really good job with. So me having to get me having to find people, and whom I can help, literally, who wants to be helped by me. There is a certain amount of influence needed, conversation needed, but eventually, um, understanding them that I'm your guy and I can help you getting from where you are to where you want to be. That kind of people I attract quite a lot, because what happens then is I put my time, energy, emotion, skills into making that person successful.
Mm,
And
mm.
it could be failure as well, but I don't know. I don't care either. However, when I get them to do that, there is a sense of fulfillment and money becomes the byproduct. I'm
Right.
always chasing fulfillment, because if I'm always chasing money, then I have more problems than the money problem. That means I'm more about just chasing the money and what things I can do with that money. However, I'm overlooking the fact that if I really help out people, if I really get people what they want, money is a side product, actually.
Amazing. Nice. And I think at this part of the interview session, I feel there's a lot of intense thing which is building up, and I would like to definitely go a little bit deeper into this. Asking about how do you do what you do is a kind of a very simple question, but I know there is a lot of things at such kind of a problem, the distress all across with such kind of viruses problem and all these things. You have set up something which is virtual, which is
Mhm.
purely at home, with your own family. So the word quarantined is a happy love self family time that you have positioned in a very nice way. I would like to know more about it, and I'm sure the audience would also like to know about it.
Sure, sure, sure. Look, man, we on everyday life, people complain about traffic, people complain about commute time, people complain about, 10 hours just going to the job. I get it.
Yes.
I have felt the pain as well. Um, so the idea of remote sales came into my life last year because
Mm-hmm.
of the stress. I
Mm-hmm.
think people are in bigger stress now because they didn't have that kind of understanding of not having the virtual presence, the
Hmm.
virtual asset. So for me, it is multiplying on daily basis because not only I'm onboarding like the clients who need more, who somehow had a sales team in house is going remote now, so they want to add more remote horsepower, or people wanting to do more work remote because their restaurant got shut off, their so for me, I'm in that situation where I'm providing work to more people at the moment. And last week, my gym instructor, he reached out to me and he got out of work because gym is closed now, and he has six people and six people to feed, and he's out of work. So I gave him the money, just have the money and go with it. I don't know how much it lasts, but I think it will help. So you having to be in business, being an entrepreneur right now, your virtual asset will matter moving forward. Look at the way how people are learning now compared to what it used to be 10 years ago.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And when you mentioned about virtual asset, could you throw some light on, at this point of time, I'm talking on behalf of India and the citizens of India also, and I can relate to that. There are a lot of people, they have lost their hope. The
Yeah,
so-called offline businesses are no longer functioning right now.
yeah,
And we are right now at a place where I'll say there is an uncertainty, what you rightly mentioned. We have no idea about when is this lockdown going to be extended or what kind of things can happen. And the numbers of, I'll say the ill or the evil is always getting to the next level. And at this point of time, the virtual seems the only option.
right.
Okay. So either you go digital or you die. There was a famous quote somewhere, I read it. So I would like to know, like, what would be your advice to such kind of people about this virtual assets or digital assets? Can you throw some lights on that?
Well, there used to be a saying, you need uh, food, air, and shelter to survive. Food, air, shelter, and clothes. Now you need, whether you have any of those or not, of course food and air is necessary, but you definitely need internet. So number one, internet. If you are going an entrepreneur, make sure you are at a place where there is more abundance and of people and internet. That's number one.
Yeah,
Number two is, if you are trying to launch your business or actually wanting to be an entrepreneur, then you can scale your product, your knowledge, like Amit is doing with me right now, 13,000 miles away, or 10,000 miles away, just with the power of internet. Having you be in the virtual space of your business provides others to know more about your business. Don't you think if you can find five people who like your product within vicinity of where you are, whether it's in India, don't you think you can find another five people outside India too, just with the help
absolutely.
of power, just with the help of internet? And of course, you have to be anchoring it, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, social media. I don't know what platform you're gonna use, but all I'm saying is your virtual presence will help you scale up to a bigger audience.
Right. And I think that's a very important part of the information that you have also given here. The people who are right now locked in and they are thinking that, this is the end. And I've seen people doing something called as panic buying, and they keep on storing the food and everything, and the groceries are like almost empty, even though the government is taking good measures to see that the livestock and the supplies are really coming into place. But still, there's a kind of a uncertainty which grows and all. So as I think Mukul has rightly summed up, is you need to have something right now which can be a digital asset of yours. If you don't have, create it. And when a lot of people ask me, I'm talking about myself, okay, Amit, you had been designing companies like vegetables. You can like make it from thin air. How do you do it? I said, simple, just go and ask people, what is their problem? Just before interviewing you, I was interviewing with somebody else, and he had a tough time managing some of the things. He wants to do it by himself, but he doesn't know. I said, see, there is a business here. If you know how to properly plug and play the system, which is like very easy, can you guide them on phone? Give them some sort of an information, and there is a new business, right?
Yeah.
It's so simple. But yeah, it needs a system, it needs a process, it needs the right, the way of functioning. And that's why I think, we need to talk to people who are experts like Vipul, myself, and where we can actually put the things in place. So team, talent, and technology with the right template, and definitely with the right trust. And there is nothing stopping us, right? So with that, probably let me thank Vipul for coming in here. Vipul, before we go and probably say
Mukul,
goodbye.
Mukul.
Sorry, Mukul. Sorry, I'm sorry. I wanted to use certain words. So Mukul, this is one thing that I want to ask you probably at this time of this interview is any message that you want to share of people who have difficult pasts or right now with the struggling situation, and right now they want to come up of it. And is there an opportunity on the digital space that they should be looking at? And do you think sales is something that anyone can learn? Or is it something that you feel that this is the next version of it? I would like to know what would be your message to people who are stuck in like that and they have lost all the hopes, even though they're highly qualified, highly talented.
Well, I don't know if lost all the hopes is you should go to that extreme, Um, I think most companies were born in the recession. If you look at Uber, Venmo, WhatsApp,
Nice.
Airbnb, they came out of between 2008 and 10. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you should be that guy or I should be that guy or Amit should be that guy, but the reason why you are panicking is not because other people, because of your own self.
Nice.
Other people might be panicking, but they might have a huge bank account. You don't know that. Or other people might be, saying that they're pretty good. They are doing things on social media, but their bank account is zero. And inside they're panicking when they're not on social media. So you don't know that. So first of all, stop comparing yourself to others around you. I think it happens quite a lot in our country
Nice.
where
Nice.
we, as neighbors, we compare to each other's what their situation is. It's easier said than done, but again, the more in depth you can go inside you, the less wide you need to go. Does that make
Nice.
sense? So in order for you, this is where you, all your life, if you have been telling you don't have time, now you have time. Give it to yourself and really, really, really figure out what you really want.
Yes.
Okay, what you really want out of it. And if money is the only thing which you want, then money is not the problem. Then there are other problems, because
Absolutely.
everybody wants money. That's like a new normal, right? Money, you need money to survive, but really, more than money, you need something which you can progress towards, like losing weight, for example, like getting a new habit, or like if you were to like helping people, this is the time how you can use that digital world and leverage that. I'm not sure if it's going to happen right now, and some of you are going to overwhelm that, coronavirus is here for 2 to 3 months only, it's going to go, then I'm going to be back up again in my life again. But if you are really serious about and complaining right now that you don't have work, this is the time where you can just reflect yourself and really start something for you, what you are passionate about, because all you have is time.
Absolutely. I think, rightly put everything, Mukul. And just before,
Oh,
winding
virtual
up.
sales. One, sorry about that, virtual sales. I would say that I'm creating Uber of sales, the platform where the client can meet the people who need. So if you are in need of work and if you have an experience, so for example, for Uber, you need to know how to drive, you need to have license, and you need to have a car, or you can go and buy the car. Same thing here. You need to have experience here with sales, or if you don't have it, I also fulfill that by teaching you.
Awesome. So I think it's a blend. I mean, you have the raw materials and you have the presentations as well. And you know what? This is a good time where I think the skies are again pollution free and you wake up with the birds chirping in. Now this is a good time. You already have everything with you. And as Mukul said, is, time. Now you don't have the excuse of traffic. You don't have the excuse of time. The only excuse that you have is your own procrastinations. I think this is the right time to wake up, work up, and show up. So with that, let me thank Mukul. Thank you so much for bringing all the wise words for us. And again, there are a lot of things to these are the feathers in the cap that can come down. Is I strongly believe what you are doing is the next level, and definitely I am always with you on that front. And thank you so much on behalf of my team, my audience, and everyone who is looking forward. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Amit, for having me. And if anyone have any questions, they can find me through your Facebook group.
Absolutely. The links will be somewhere down there, and I'll definitely be tagging him as well. So if you need any questions, I'm sure both of us are open to answer. We'll go through all the comments. We'll try to, probably, come back again and answer those points if it is required. Definitely, we are most welcome. And I think this is the time when we should get united by being so part. Thank you.
Absolutely.